few hours later, while Nolan was getting ready for the fight against Goku in a wider, uninhabited area, Mark headed to his house. He carried the baby wrapped in a blanket, his face tense since he knew it wouldn't be easy to explain to his mother. The ride was silent, and when he reached the door, he hesitated for an instant before knocking. But he did, making his mother open the door. "Mark? What are you doing here? And that baby?" Mark swallowed nervously since he didn't know how to tell her the truth. "Mom, I need you to listen to me. It's complicated, but please, listen to me." He set about explaining a bit of the situation, including what happened with his father on Thraxa and that the baby was his. This made his mother feel very confused and at the same time sorrowful. "Are you telling me that baby is Nolan's son?" "Yes. He's half Thraxian and half Viltrumite. But he didn't choose to be born that way, Mom. It's not his fault." "And you want me to raise him? After what your father did to me?" "No, I don't want that, but there's no other option. He needs someone to take care of him, and I know you're the right person. The way you raised me made it possible for me to oppose my father when he asked me to join the Empire. You're the only one I know who could give this baby some humanity when his powers awaken." Debbie brought her hand to her mouth, stepping back slightly while she stared at the little one, who slept peacefully. "It's complicated." "Mom, if you can't do it, I understand, but I had to try." She remained silent for a while, but soon after, Debbie approached, extending her arms, carefully taking the baby. "He really does look like him, but it's not his fault." Mark nodded silently, seeing how his mother struggled with a sea of feelings. But she had taken the first step. "I'm willing to do this so the past won't repeat itself. This child won't be the legacy of what Nolan did. He'll be better than that." Mark only smiled at his mother's words, ready to support her if she needed it. Meanwhile, in a remote desert area in the southwest of the United States, a tough fight was about to take place. There stood Nolan Grayson, a Viltrumite, and Goku, the Saiyan warrior raised on Earth. Both were in combat stance, watching each other intently. "I don't know what you expect from this, but I warn you, I'm stronger than I look." "I know. That's why I'm excited to see your capabilities." Without further words, Nolan lunged forward, propelling himself with great force to gain more speed. His first blow was aimed straight at Goku's face, quick and packed with power, but Goku deflected it with his forearm at an equally astonishing speed. Nolan stepped back in surprise, but immediately charged again with a flurry of attacks. Goku began to dodge Nolan's blows without stopping his smile, moving with grace and lightness. At one point, he counterattacked with a direct punch to the abdomen that made Nolan bend slightly forward, gasping. "You're not bad, but you're using too much power and too little technique. Is that how Viltrumites fight?" "We're a warrior race, trained from childhood to dominate and conquer. Usually we don't need complex techniques." I see. Then maybe it's time to show you how a Saiyan fights." Before Nolan could ask, Goku moved so fast that he disappeared completely. A second later, he appeared right behind Nolan and struck him with a kick to the back that hurled him against a nearby mountain. The crash was brutal, causing a partial collapse of the cliff. Nolan flew out from the dust and rocks, visibly irritated by the tremendous attack he had received, but his eyes were fixed on Goku. "From the moment I saw you fight the Viltrumites, I realized your strength. So I wonder, what exactly are you? Because it's clear you're not human." "You're right, I'm not. I was born on another planet, and my race is called Saiyan. Born warriors like you, though very different in spirit." Nolan frowned, trying to process it while readying himself to attack again. This time he increased his speed and launched himself, breaking the sound barrier several times in seconds. Goku took a direct punch to the face that hurled him back several meters. He landed with his feet planted in the ground, leaving a trail in the earth, but his smile remained intact. "Wow, that wasn't bad at all. That punch did pack a lot of power, but you're missing something very important." "What am I missing?" "Control and purpose. It's not just about being strong, it's about flowing in battle." He said this while slowly rising into the air, his expression a bit more focused. "You've seen a part of what I can do, but now I want you to see who I really am." After saying that, the air began to churn violently around him, and a golden aura started to emanate from Goku's body, accompanied by a rising roar. The sky seemed to tremble as Goku's black hair lifted, and slowly turned golden, shining like fire. His eyes became green and his expression changed. It was no longer mere serenity, it was pure determination. He's a Super Saiyan! Nolan retreated slightly in the air, much more than surprised by the transformation. It was the same form he had shown on planet Thraxa. The power emanating from Goku was almost crushing, not just physical, but spiritual. He felt it in his bones. How is this possible? Your appearance changed? What kind of monster are you? I'm not a monster. I'm a warrior who fights to protect and defend what is important. I hadn't mentioned it, but I've already lost friends in the past, even my own life. But I've learned to fight thanks to all of them. The answer left Nolan silent, because for the first time he felt he was in front of someone truly different. A warrior who had been born to fight, but who had chosen to protect Earth. Right now, you have a lot to fight for. So, if you focus on that, you'll be able to learn to fight better. Goku slowly rose into the air, his usual calm expression now tinged with excitement. You've seen a part of what I can do, but now I want you to see how I really fight. Shall we continue? Sounds good to me. Nolan nodded respectfully this time and launched himself at the attack again. It was no longer a fight to compare strength, it was one of learning. Each blow he threw, each technique he saw from Goku made him question more deeply what he had been up to that moment, and what he wanted to be from now on. Before Nolan could react, Goku disappeared and reappeared in front of him in a blink, launching a series of rapid blows that Nolan barely managed to block, yet they pushed him far back. Nolan counteracted furiously, channeling all his Viltrumite strength and rising to supersonic speeds. The battle climbed even higher into the sky, creating shockwaves that split the clouds. Even some satellites registered the anomalous energy of the clash. This disrupted Cecil's base systems, so they decided to see what was going on. Sir, it seems we've received strong signals in a desert area. Zoom in with the satellites. I want to see exactly what's happening there. After he issued the order, the screen showed the image of Goku in Super Saiyan form fighting Nolan at full speed. Each movement was a powerful burst, each clash a contained explosion of power. And even so, Goku seemed to be controlling every second of the fight. This amazed Cecil, since he had never seen Goku's golden form before and found it shocking. So that's what it was about. This changes everything. This man, Goku, has the strength to crush mountains if he wanted, and yet he's holding back every time he fights. Are you saying he's stronger than Nolan? Much stronger, and probably stronger than anyone we've ever seen. While Cecil watched what was happening, the fight continued on the battlefield. Rocks pulverized with every exchange of blows between Goku and Nolan, who fought without restrictions thanks to the uninhabited location. When they took off, only their silhouettes could be seen because of how fast they moved. It was an astonishing fight. Nolan began to notice that, unlike him, Goku's movements weren't just blows packed with power. Each one seemed calculated to do something specific, like breaking his guard or attacking more vulnerable points. This helped him see the flaws in his fighting style, since his ways of counterattacking were limited by his lack of technique. It was surprising how someone like Goku could be so calm when fighting and enjoy the combat. It was a mindset Nolan found hard to understand, but it intrigued him. Maybe he was facing the most powerful being he had ever seen, but it was someone who used fights to grow stronger and defend what was important, and also to form bonds with people. Taking all that into account, Nolan decided to respond in the same way and charged with all his remaining strength, launching himself at a speed that even burned part of his cape. Seeing this, Goku spun in the air quickly, dodging Nolan's rush and catching his arm in midair. Swiftly he hurled him toward the ground, making Nolan plummet sharply and leave a crater with his landing. How can you contain so much power and still be so calm? Because I learned that power without control is useless for fighting. Remember when you said the Empire was everything? I also met someone like that, and his name is Vegeta. And you think I can too? You're already doing it! There's no doubt about that! Nolan got to his feet, breathing heavily, sweating and with his suit torn. On the other hand, Goku barely had a mark on his clothes. I admit you're stronger. Much stronger. I've never felt anything like this. But it's not humiliating to admit it, because you're a true warrior. I'm glad to see your progress. At that moment, an invisible drone that had been observing the battle withdrew and returned to the base. Cecil had already seen enough, so he leaned back in his seat and crossed his hands on the desk. I had my doubts when he came here and then left the planet with Mark, but it seems Goku isn't a threat. He's an ace up our sleeve we didn't know we had. Are you going to trust him? Something like that. For the first time in a long time, I see a real possibility that humanity will survive what's coming. Back in the desert, Nolan approached Goku and extended his hand. Thank you for this. I never thought a fight could open my eyes. There's a first time for everything. Now, how about we start training for real? Go ahead. I'm ready. And so a new beginning started, not only of redemption for Nolan, but of preparation, because Earth's fate hung by a thread. But with Goku on the hero's side, even the past could have a second chance.